This episode of the Kind of Funny Gamescast is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You don't need to choose between price and quality. You get an amazing and affordable shave. DollarShaveClub.com is the answer. To prove how amazing their shave really is, right now, they're going to give you your first month free to join the club. DollarShaveClub.com delivers amazing razors right to your door for a third of the price of what the greedy razor corporations charge. Join the club just like I did and stop dealing with the drugstore hassle and battle the locked up razor fortress ever again. I've been looking damn good, right, Kev?
Yeah, Tim.
Thanks, Kev. Just go to Dollar Shave Club and pick a razor from their lineup of amazing blades. I've been using the Executive Blade with their Dr. Carver shave butter. I've never used shave butter before, but I'll tell you what, it's good. It's damn good. The blade just gently glides for the smoothest shave ever. See why over 3 million members love Dollar Shave Club. They're so confident in the quality of all their products. Now you can get your first month of the club for free. Just pay shipping. After that, just a few bucks a month. No long-term commitment. No hidden fees. Go to dollarshaveclub.com/gamescast. That's dollarshaveclub.com/gamescast. Topic 3 of the show, I decided that Nick should be here.
Brought in the ringer.
The ringer.
We're talking about Deus Ex.
I finally want to bring someone that knows what they're talking about.
Axiom Verge.
We are talking about an internal war that's been going on, waging for years. And,
Kevin was just like, I was like, is it not recording? What'd you do? What happened?
No, I know what the issue. The topic's
so
about,
so Colin and I were talking about this on Concrete Live yesterday. And I would like to discuss a little further. It's inverted versus regular
Being a
controls.
weirdo versus being a normal human being. Got it.
This came up because at the GameStop Manager Expo,
Yeah, I had a funny joke.
Greg Miller and I were at the Square thing in front of a whole bunch of GameStop managers, and Greg had a really funny joke where anytime we would bring up someone to play Tomb Raider, I would ask them, are you inverted or regular? And if they said inverted, you would then yell at the hundreds of people in the crowd.
No matter what I would say, I would go, hey, who, by round of applause, who here is inverted? And there'd be a smattering, just, the minority that is inverted would clap. And I would go, everybody pay attention. Look at those people. Don't have children with them. We need to breed them out of the gene pool. We need to get over this inverted hump we're on.
Don't have sex with them.
Exactly.
I think is what you said.
Well, I change it up every show.
You did.
There's jazz up there.
And then yeah. Don't have sex with them. We need to breed them
Jazz,
out.
you know what I mean? Have you ever heard
What
jazz?
instrument was that?
I think he's playing the alto saxophone.
The alto sax?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
That's what I play.
Yeah, he was crushing it.
How did you know it was the alto sax?
Because it was too small to be the soprano
that's true,
sax. And the baritone sax is way down here.
I was
so
gonna
I just
say,
assumed.
Craig wouldn't know how to play a baritone.
The idea of Greg with an alto sax is just hilarious. He's gonna look like a giant.
I got a
with
silver
his
medal
hands.
in band with it. I want you to know.
Did you know?
Yeah.
Did you really play
Yeah.
alto sax?
Yeah, for like a year and a half or whatever.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I
You're up
believe
on
it.
that
Reed
reed.
instruments.
I absolutely.
I was
Fuck
sucking,
the
I was
reed
sucking that reed
instruments.
left and right.
Woodwinds.
I played sax for a year. Bad mistake. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
It's irrelevant.
Matter. It doesn't. Anyway, so this was an important thing. The Facebook group recently.
Yeah.
It's been a civil war dividing the two sides between the right side of history and the inverted
side, yeah.
people. And I cannot believe how divided it is.
So
I would think that at this point, people would have learned and adapted over time.
So what, are you inverted? We brought you into
I'm
to level the
inverted.
playing field?
Yeah, I'm inverted. And again, I'm not going to sit here and defend being inverted. I know that it's wrong. Do you understand that? Like, I understand that it's counterintuitive and it doesn't make any sense. It is just a lineage thing, right? It is something that happened to me.
Flight sims?
Flight sims in the 90s. Mostly X-Wing, actually. I blame X-Wing for it because that was the first game I really ever got into that dealt with inverted controls. And I guess it made sense there. And then it's just been a legacy thing ever since. I always have to go, sorry guys, pause. I got to go to the menu and change the inverted option. My thing is, if you really want to weed it out, everyone has to convince game developers to stop putting that option in the game. It's very similar to the analog earbud thing for iPhones, right? Whereas like eventually that's just going to go away. The stereo jack's just going to go away, and it's going to be a lightning bolt. Some amazing group like Apple has to come around and be like, no, we're putting our foot down.
Courage.
We're putting our foot down, and we're telling everyone you can't have inverted controls anymore. You have to play like a normal human being. You can't be some sort of reject from 1992. That's all I have to say about that.
Greg, where do you stand?
Oh, you know where I stand. I'm a regular old person. I mean, we're playing it up for the camera, of course, here. I don't care how you play. It's just annoying when I go to an E3 or a demo or whatever, and you pick it up and you go, and I'm like, oh god damn it! Oh
We feel
shit,
the
hop
same
in
way.
there, bring it back down.
We feel the same
But
way.
you know,
with
you're
you
the
normals.
you're just like these left-handed people ruining everything for everybody. All right, just get over it. Somebody should have tied your left hand behind your back, made you work with your right.
Just beat you on the right side
Yeah,
of the head
exactly,
until
exactly.
it worked.
I'm both left-handed and play inverted. So
Now-
like, apparently I belong in a fucking concentration camp.
Before
somewhere.
you go any further with this, when it comes to inverted controls and being the face of the inverted camp,
Yeah.
you, sir, are the John Kerry. You are just a flip-flopper. There was a month where you couldn't play anything. It didn't feel right to play either.
Yeah, it's true. So actually, it's funny that I didn't know we were going to do this topic today. It was funny that, first of all, Nick's a traitor to his people. Second of all, it's funny that we because inversion makes perfect sense, and I'm going to talk about that in a second.
Here we go.
But
Doesn't make any sense.
it makes perfect sense. The one real life application where inversion would make like where something is actually inverted, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, is controlled exactly the way it is, fucking inverted. All right, which is an airplane. And we're going to talk about that in a second.
That's why it makes sense when I'm in an airplane.
Now, to me, I thought this was an interesting topic because someone tweeted at me today, and when we were talking about inverted controls, for some reason it comes up because everyone knows I play, I invert Y, and he was like, Goldeneye inverted by like it just had inverted controls by that was standard.
Oh, that was the default.
Yeah,
huh?
default. And I'm like, fucking A. That's where it comes from.
Absolutely.
I bet you anything because I was like, I played PC games, but I didn't play like flight sims and stuff. So I didn't, X-Wing and all that kind of stuff. I was like, that's not it. It's GoldenEye. And suddenly I realized I'm like, GoldenEye is the one that did that to me. And of course it was in GoldenEye as default because that's what makes fucking sense. But if you go into one of your precious Virgin America airplanes and they're doing,
You're welcome to.
all this kind of stuff, and then they're like, all right, lift up, and the guy's like, all right, I'm going up, so I'm pressing up on the thing. That
Man,
plane's
you
going to the fucking ground. All right?
You've listened to a lot of air traffic control. Oh, all right, press up. All right, I'm pressing up.
Okay, I'm going up.
Going up.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Going up.
It didn't work.
Still going up. So to me, I've said it in the past, stick a stick in the back of a person's head, and if you want them to look up, you press down. That's the entire rationale behind it, and it makes perfect fucking sense.
That doesn't make any sense. You're when you look up, do you think about looking down?
Yo, when I play Bioshock, am I the man in Bioshock, or am I controlling? No,
you
I'm
are
not
the man.
No, I'm not.
You are in that. You are in Rapture. Your hands right here. You are the
Nope,
man.
that's the perspective. You
You're
are
the
never.
man.
You are never actually the person in the game. You are never. No matter it is the perspective. So if you are in a first person, in third person, it makes perfect sense too. But in first person, it's the perspective is as if you are that person, but you're not. You're still having to control the person with the analog stick by pressing down and make them look up.
Sir,
it
when
makes
I
perfect
played
sense.
Gone Home, I was a teenage lesbian.
No,
You still are a teenage lesbian.
In my
You very
heart.
well will be.
So I mean, I understand why. Like, I understand we're a minority. It's something like 10 or 15% of gamers. I think everyone kind of gets it from different things or whatever. It's never going to go away because sometimes it just makes sense to certain people to play that way. See, if they did what Nick said and they like really brute forced it out of games, I would just not play them anymore because like
I
I
would
can't.
still play
You're
it, but I
all
would-
talk. You'd turn
I
around.
would still play.
You'd
It wouldn't
learn.
take
No, it
you that
wouldn't.
long. I don't
Yes, it
think.
would. It would
I don't-
break me.
I don't think you'd be that
Zelda
as good.
broke you at E3.
Yeah, like I couldn't.
do
I
it.
couldn't. They couldn't. First of all, when we played Breath of the Wild or whatever at E3, and I'm like, all right, I need to invert. And they're like, oh, it's not in this build. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
That's dumb.
And then I asked him, I'm like, it's gonna be in the final game, and he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, are you nuts? Of course. Well, first of all, of course it's gonna be in the final game, but.
They're
Will
listening
it?
to Nick.
Nintendo.
But I was
Bring it
running
They're
around. I'm like, I
brave
can't.
ones.
After 10 or 15 minutes, like, because the demo was supposed to go, I'm like, dude, with all due respect, I gotta go. Like,
Yeah.
I can't play like this. Like, how can you not? How can no one at Nintendo, no one on that dev team plays inverted?
NX
no
is making
one-
a stand. NX is taking a stand
They're
against you
giving it to
inverted
you.
types.
They're giving it to you fucking hard.
My thing
Colin.
is like, and it's not just in games. That's the problem too. It actually goes. It has spread now to all other aspects of my life, including the trackpad on my laptop. So now it has to I have to grab and push down. I think it's inverted on my trackpad.
It
too.
is.
don't even
It's
know.
a whole.
That's when I use your shit. I'm like, what the
Yeah,
hell?
you don't understand. And like
You're
it,
a
it
backwards
just
man.
is so weird. Like I'm just saying, I need help.
You're dyslexic.
Somebody needs to help all of us poor inverted people.
No, I don't
See,
want
I
help.
like that you're apologetic for your people. That's why when we take over
I
and it's
don't
all
like-
done,
I don't like
you can
that
never be
you're-
on like this ruling security council of regular
No,
people.
no.
But you'll be our fun
You're
pet.
never gonna trust me.
Yeah, you
but
can
you
come
can
work-
chain me to the Game of Thrones throne.
Yeah.
and I can make you laugh occasionally.
You can change Tim's bedpan.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's what I've always wanted to do. in
All
life.
out.
This goes back to a certain thing though, which is, and I believe in this universally, and I'm disappointed that a lot of games still don't do it, is that there should be button mapping and customization to the degree that the gamer desires. If they want to play inverted Y, then they should be able to play inverted Y. It's not that uncommon. Some people invert X, Some games let you do that as well. If you want to play Southpaw, then you should be able to play that as well to put movement on the right stick. If you want to fucking shoot with the X button, you can shoot with the X button. If you let people map the goddamn buttons to their exact specifications, what's the problem?
Well,
if
games barely work as is.
People
let alone doing
there
this.
were people that used to play like left-handed people. You can read a little bit about it, I think, but I remember reading about it not too long ago. Some people play and will play with the NES controller. Can play with the NES controller upside down.
Oh man,
because it feels more natural to them. Because why necessarily control movement with the left hand if you wanted to control with the right and all those kinds of things? The only way to do that was to flip the controller.
I had a friend, Michael Bryan, who used to play with the N64 controller, like turned all wackadoo to play GoldenEye to make more sense to him or whatever, where he's holding it sideways. I think the cord going through this hand or whatever over here, working the C buttons, this one working the stick.
Going back to your original argument on this, I totally get and I understand that, and that's how it works in my brain as well. But the only issue is, like, wouldn't that be the same for the X-axis as well? Like, isn't that same argument flawed because no one inverts the X-axis ever? Or the Y-axis? Which one's left and right?
X.
X is left.
So
and
no one
right.
ever inverts X.
Yeah,
But
no,
isn't that the same
people
concept?
do.
Like when you
Some people do,
but that's
I do sometimes, but it depending on the
That's
third
a-
person.
I would-
Oh,
I
so
bet
you
that's
can
very-
invert X?
no,
But
here's the thing.
I would say
Let
it's
me-
much more of a minority than people.
I haven't
realize.
given my history on this. Things have changed. I have fixed myself. I
That's
don't know
what I like
how.
to see.
I don't know how, but I did.
I do want you guys to understand that you're
our
invert shaming
inversion conversion
I
camps.
want you
I've
guys
set
to
up.
know.
conversion. I like that.
I don't appreciate the amount of invert shaming that's happening. Right
No,
now.
it's
okay.
You
guys
started
guys
it.
are invert shaming. I'm
You
just
all
saying.
trying to come around
I'm
now.
just saying. Look, I know that I have a deficiency when it comes to this because I've been shamed so much by the likes of you normies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The inversion
giant, big,
conversion
beautiful
centers
normies.
will accept you with open arms.
I feel like that's just going to be a conveyor belt into a fucking fireplace.
I just feel like it makes perfect sense, but it goes beyond that. It's just like a good example is when Deus Ex Human Revolution came out. The game was unplayable to me
That's
because you
hard-
had to
hard
click
control
on the
scheme.
stick to aim,
Yeah, it was weird.
and they never mapped in the ability to aim with the triggers. Why not? You know, like that, like really infuriated me. It's like, go in there and let people map it. If I want to aim with the fucking down button on the D-pad, I'll aim with the goddamn down button on the D-pad and make it happen. Like, people should be able to specify their controls to the exact way that they want to play.
I've had issues like GTA San Andreas. I had an issue where all the other GTA games you can drive the cars using the D-pad. But then in San Andreas, you could only use the analog stick, and it just didn't work for me. I just didn't like it, so it definitely hindered my experience with that game.
That's why you walked everywhere.
I did. I didn't. I never got in a car.
Slowly running from the police.
But for me, like GoldenEye is exactly it. It's GoldenEye and Star
no,
Fox.
dude, this guy-
where-
Star Fox probably is the other one.
Where I didn't play PC games, or at least not flight sims and stuff back then. So for me, on the N64, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, Star Fox, all of those were inverted by default. And they fucked me up really badly. A lot of my friends didn't play those games growing up. Their first real console first-person shooters were like Time Splitters or Halo. And when I jumped in playing with them, I'd be the asshole that had to go in changing all my options. But I was changing my options to make them play like GoldenEye played, which is all types of fucked up. If you try playing GoldenEye now, you're not going to have a good time. It's atrociously controlled because not only is it inverted, it's also like you move, you strafe,
Strafe left and right.
if you have to hold R to strafe.
Oh,
so
that's
you're
right.
actually you walk forward and back, but you can look left and right with the analog, and then you have to hold the R to do the aim thing. And it's like
I thought it was super. I mean, you're right that it's like but that was super elegant in 1997. You know, like
It was a
that's
good way to get
that's the reality of the situation.
elegance. One way to put it. It worked, and we convinced ourselves it worked.
It's one of the great games
I
on
wouldn't
the
say
So he was like,
I mean, I
what if
agree
we
with
just
you
add a
too. GoldenEye's
second
fucking
analog
awesome.
stick? And it was like,
Well, if you plugged in both controllers, you could do that. You could play dual analog.
But I just don't understand the whole
know that. That's awesome.
I just don't understand. There's no real life application for like controlling another person's movement, right? Unless you're using a machine or something like that. But like I think the airplane is a perfect thing. It's like this is a real life thing that's controlled exactly like this. So why does that make sense? Physically, it's physics. Makes sense, you know? Then but it doesn't make sense to control the character who you aren't. You aren't playing as yourself.
But that's the whole thing, is that you can understand how to control the airplane inverted, because that's how you control an airplane. And you control a person looking up, looking down. And I understand you think that you're not really that person.
Yeah,
I
and you're
understand
not,
what you're
and
saying.
you're- and your neck-
But that's how I control myself.
you
down,
really
up,
don't
down.
though.
but again, then but
I
the
never
argument-
think about the pool cue shoved in my head going
No, but
like
that's
this.
not, but that's
again,
not what I'm
the
saying,
flaw in
because
the
you're not
argument-
controlling yourself. If you're controlling, if I
Damn,
want,
shit's getting real.
you know,
It's
like,
all metaphorical and philosophical.
but it matters about like the perspective of who you're controlling. And I think it also has to do with what you look at the game as, like especially in first person games. Like I don't ever look at it as me.
And I think that's a great example of the problem, or not the problem, but the difference.
The problem.
Even when I'm playing a third person and I'm playing as Trevor or whatever in GTA, I'm that character. That is me. I'm not making the choice saying those lines or whatever, but like the controls and what I want to do, I'm thinking is how I would do them.
Yeah. For me, in Halo, I not only would have to invert my controls, I'd have to play on what they call legacy controls because it was referring to like Goldeneye and stuff. And that was all types of fucked up where I would use the left analog stick to move forward and look, and I'd use the right stick to strafe and aim up and down. And then one day, it just clicked. After Alfredo shamed me for years, I was just like, oh my God, I'm normal. My life's been better ever since.
What happened with you where it unclicked for you, right?
Yeah. Well, before I get into that, I always respect that about Bungie. I don't know if 343 does because I've not played their Halo games. They had a really deep control scheme customization that I think should be the standard, and it should go even deeper than that. And I don't understand that. If I ever made a game, you'd be able to map it. Fucking believe me. All right. Like
Just make a game about mapping things.
I should a cartography game.
Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, like fall 2014, there was about a month or 6 weeks where I couldn't play. Like I couldn't play inverted or uninverted. Nothing made sense. It was like really starting to like bum me out.
That's weird.
It was when Destiny came out and Borderlands 2 on Vita. And I've told a story recently about going to play Far Cry 4 at Ubisoft, and they were like, I was like competent, but they were like, we thought you were a huge Far Cry fan. I'm like, I am. I'm broken right now. I was talking to Scott Fry. I'm like, I can't play. Like, I just don't know what's happened to
You
me.
lost your mojo. It was like
Yeah, like I was, and then
Powers
suddenly, like one day, I think it was with Call of Duty that year. I was like, oh, I'm fine. Everything's actually, it's back. I'm back to normal.
I'm back.
It was really a scary. I gotta be honest with you. It was
back.
for a gamer. It was like kind of a scary thing where I'm like,
Sure.
what the hell is happening? Like, I remember playing Destiny, going in the menu every 5 seconds, like changing it back and forth, being like, I don't understand what's going on. And then when I went to Comic-Con that year, around the time we quit, I was playing Borderlands on Vita, and I'm like, I can't, I don't know what's happening to me. And but I came back to the inverted camp, and I'm like, Nick, I'm not ashamed of it. I think that it's just another of many customizations options. We have these very complicated controllers that should be able to do whatever you want them to do within the game. And I think that the constraints of being like, this is the way the game's played. I'm like, why? Like, I just don't understand how complicated could it possibly be to let people map the controls.
Yeah.
It requires a little extra QA, it requires a little extra work, and it's not that complicated. It's
Well,
like,
they
you
clearly
can't.
figured it out in Deus Ex with Mankind Divided, because they let you have every different kind of control scheme.
And I saw that,
you possibly could
and I
want.
saw that, and I thought that was great because it's a far cry from Deus Ex Human Revolution, which controlled to me in a way that I literally couldn't play.
Yeah.
And like
It was
that's
hard.
not
It took me
acceptable. Why
used
would you want? Why would? And that got not necessarily through QA, but that got through like, people coming in early and playing it. Like no one was like, why am I clicking on the stick to aim? Like I'm playing fucking Halo.
Anytime you have to click a stick on, you failed as a developer. Like that's my theory. It's like anytime you use
Damn.
R3 or L3, it's just like, because inevitably that's going to just be a frustrating portion of the game from the fucking start to the very end. It was with Deus Ex. It was with every game that I've ever had to use that control, especially
Resistance Fall Man had that.
especially in anything that requires a fast reaction to something, because inevitably you're just going to want to move right, and you're going to do it a little bit too vehemently or arduently, and it's going to just click in, and all of a sudden you're in cover and someone's blasting your face. It's annoying as shit. Hate it.
Sometimes I find
should be
myself someone randomly blasting my
Blasting
face.
your face.
Well, you're just on your knees, near in the dark, like
Ladies and
cover area,
gentlemen,
and someone's blasting
let
your
us
face.
know in the comments below. Are you team inverted or team normal? Regular. What are we calling it?
Doesn't matter.
Well, you
there are
just-
plenty of
Yeah, our
inversion
team right, team
conversion
wrong.
centers
The
with
inversion
open
conversion
arms.
centers.
Just welcoming you in. We'll make you right.
Yeah. Let us know. We will help you. We will help you.
You guys sit on that fucking high and mighty throat of yours and just eat your
You helped
pizza.
them.
I know, right?
You came right in and said that you were ashamed of yourself.
yourself.